Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be Alpha Wingman Friend, bad or good? So I've got an interesting email today. This one's from a guy. He's 27, and he's got a wingman friend, an older friend of his, who's 44. And on the weekends, they go out to bars and nightclubs to meet new women. He says on two different occasions, there was women that he was talking to. I guess he had been dating or seeing, and they must have run into these particular women when they were out. And this friend of his, this wingman, basically proceeds to show him why these are not good women for him. And so he starts flirting with the girls that this guy had been dating. I think it was just two separate occasions, and these women started reciprocating and flirting with his friend, basically in a ruthless way, showing his friends like these girls are looking to get the best deal that's out there. And so it's kind of pissed him off. It's made him a little bit bitter. And he's like, is this a good guy to hang out with and be a wingman with? So I got a quote that I wrote because this brings up a really good topic about people you allow into your inner circle and people that you should learn from. Because the idea is you go through life, you want to learn from people that are older and more successful, more experienced than you are. Because if you learn from them, then you can gain the knowledge that maybe have taken them decades to acquire in a short period of time. And so this guy's got almost 20 years of real world life experience. And so a guy 27 years old, that's a pretty good thing to have. But you also have to determine, is this guy a good person? And would he do something if you were dating a girl and try to take her home? So it seems to be that's kind of the gist of what he's concerned about. So the quote says, a good friend is someone to whom you can speak aloud. They will have your back even when you are not around. When you are lying to yourself and not doing what you know you should be doing, they will tell you and show you what you do not want to see or hear, but need to, even if it angers or upsets you. They will behave with a code of honor and show you through their actions that they are loyal and trustworthy. So let's go through his email. He says, hi, Coach. I'm 27 years old, and my friend is 44. I'm a nurse, and he is a senior sales executive. So if he's in sales, obviously he's used to dealing with and interacting with a lot of people. And if you're going to be in sales that long, especially by the time you're 44, you're going to learn a lot about human nature. On weekends, me and him go out and enjoy meeting new women at clubs and bars. There were two instances where he knew I was talking and dating these two girls. With both girls, he wanted to show me that those girls weren't the one for me. So he flirted with them and showed me that they reciprocated right in front of me. It was embarrassing, but in a way, I can think of it as a blessing in disguise to see what these girls I'm talking to see what they are really made of. You can see how that'd be disconcerting because you're thinking, man, I'm making progress with these girls. Hey, I want her to meet my buddy. And he meets her and starts flirting with her, and right away, she just whoop, turns to his friend and starts flirting back. And then he says, hey, so obviously him being older, he can probably read the body language between this guy and this girl and tell what's going on. He can probably also notice that this guy, the one that wrote the email, is more into these girls than they were into him. And it was harsh. It's a harsh lesson, but he showed them that it's a good way to kind of help this guy knock the women off their pedestals, because he's kind of pedestalizing them, obviously. And when you do that, you can't really see reality. And I do that a lot with guys that I'm in phone sessions with, especially when they tell me about the women that they're involved with, especially when there's red flags and integrity issues that are coming up. And I've done countless phone sessions over the years with guys who are just distraught about a relationship that didn't work out, or one that's not working out, or a woman that they're dating is not behaving the way they want. And then when they start telling me about this woman and what she's doing and saying, and then I start pointing out the character flaws and what it means, it brings the women kind of back down to earth and helps the guy get the women off the pedestal. So I'll start the phone session. The guy's totally distraught over this woman. And then when I show him and tell him and explain to him and illustrate what's really going on with these women, and what their integrity level is or lack of integrity, by the end of the phone session, they feel really good because they're no longer giving all their power away. They see the situation as it is instead of better than it is, which was how they were seeing it before we did our phone session. So that's something that's really important. A good friend is going to show you the things that you don't like and you don't want to hear. And obviously he didn't like this. The truth is a nasty pill to swallow. And especially if you're an avid reader of 3% Man and you've implemented it and you got friends that are pedestalizing chicks, it is helpful, even though they might not like it and they might get pissed off at you, to knock these girls off their pedestal so your friends can see the women as they really are, because that's what a true friend is going to do, even if they're going to get pissed off at you, because in the long run, that's what they really need. Because otherwise, they're just setting themselves up for failure to get burned down the road. He says, it was embarrassing, but in a way I can think of it as a blessing in disguise to see what these girls I'm talking to see what they are really made of. Both instances, I walked away from those two girls and never looked back. I wanted to ask you if he's a good friend to keep around as a wingman. Well, the important thing is he doing this after it happens to come over and say, do you see now what I was explaining to you about this girl? Do you see how she was interacting with me? She's not as into you as you think she is. And so when you do that, it kind of helps you perceive and see the situation as it is. Because when you see it better than it is, you're pedestalizing them, and then you're giving your power away. And when you give your power away, you can't see reality as it is, and you put yourself in a position where you can get taken advantage of and get your heart crushed. Remember, no one will ever do or say anything to you that you don't invite them to do. He says, we get along great, but in some way it has me bitter that he was able to show me what female nature can be. What are your thoughts on this, Coach? Well, I think it's good. But the real test comes, what happens when you're in a good, healthy relationship with a good woman and you have made a good choice? I would assume he's not trying to rip her off from you in that particular case. But ideally, if he watches you interact with a woman and you're acting all dopey and you got her on a pedestal, and he knocks this girl down a few notches in your eyes, then you'll be able to see reality as it is, which is super important. In some way, he keeps me wanting to improve on myself to the point of being undeniable when dealing with women in the future. I think it's great. I think you should keep hanging out with this particular guy, and it's good that he showed you this, because who else is going to do that? Probably your younger friends that don't know any better would just let you get bamboozled, and then you get more emotionally invested, and the heartbreak is a lot harder and takes a lot longer to get over. So if you got a question or a challenge and you would like to get my help, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book a coaching session with yours truly. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.